three. Deep to center field. This ball's crushed.
There was quite a scene here on Sunday afternoon as the Houston Astros celebrate the 2017 American League West Division Championship as they wrap things up with a victory to close out a series sweep against the Seattle Mariners. Tonight, they open up a new series. The Chicago White Sox are in town, a team that gave them problems earlier this year. The Astros trying to return the favor. Starting the night, 33 games over 500 in the first of three from Minute Maid. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Blummer was part of that scene not too long after that shot. And Blummer, quite a day on Sunday. And for the first time since 2001, the Astros take the field as division champions. It'll be fun to watch.
It is going to be fun to watch. My hair's a little bit healthier now after the beer bath. You know, they got the right nutrients I needed. But it all started with that Sunday matchup. And how about what they've done to the Seattle Mariners, just destroying all their hopes and winning it right in front of them on their home field here at Minute Maid Park. Seventh time in team history that they have clinched a division and the first time since 2001. What's also interesting, too, is they've won now a division title in 3 different divisions, which is also interesting. Again, a historic season for these guys, clinching it rather early in comparison to teams past, but a lot of fun to watch these guys earn the right to go in there and have that champagne shower.
I love Justin Verlander right in the middle of all that, kind of fitting that it was his home debut as an Astro, and he would end up being the winning pitcher in his first home start. There is the celebration. 7th title overall, the first ever in the American League. So now here we are, Blummer, 13 games to go. The season doesn't end until a week from Sunday. What are some of the things you're looking forward to in these next 2 weeks?
Yeah, amazingly enough, even with the team clinching that Western Division, they will be in the playoffs, but there are plenty more things to play for. You know that there's also an opportunity for them to go out there and get that American League best record. That means that they would play that wild card team that might have to use their ace getting into that playoff and eventually division series against whoever has that American League best record, which would be a great thing for the Astros. They've also been playing well at home, but they've also got an opportunity for guys who have been on the DL to get things right. Carlos Correa, George Springer, even a Dallas Keuchel for me are guys that they want to see go out there and start racking up ABs, get that timing right, get those arms loose, and get back into the form that they want to see going into the playoffs. Obviously, that guy at the top of the rotation is going to be great. There are some questions, though. You've got Keuchel, Verlander. Is Brad Peacock your number 3? Charlie Morton is a guy who's pitched well. Does he move to the bullpen? And, of course, Lance McCullers. Is he healthy enough to get out there and go do it? And then there's Jose Altuve. He is playing for some serious hardware here late in the season. Can he be that MVP?
So a lot to look forward to in the final 13 games, including trying to win against the Chicago White Sox for the first time this year. A.J. Hinch, the manager of the AL West Division champions. Julia will talk with A.J. right around the corner.
champions, you guys are, but 13 games left to go on the schedule. How do you keep or find your momentum heading into the playoffs here?
You just got to keep playing. You know, we got a couple weeks left before the playoffs start. We've got to keep ourselves mentally strong, physically strong. There'll be a couple breaks here and there, but we're still chasing some things. We want the best record in the league. We want to have the #1 seed. If we do well, we can do that.
You mentioned a couple of breaks, but Jose Altuve just coming off a break, back in the lineup. A good lineup you've got against this White Sox team that struggled all season long. Is that just what we can expect from here on out?
Yeah, we're going to play our guys. I mean, we want to win, and we've got to keep ourselves strong. There's a lot of stories over the years of teams that clinch early, don't play their guys, get themselves rested, and then come out a little bit flat during the playoffs. We're going to make sure our guys get their work in. You know, I'll take care of the bullpen guys and make sure I don't overextend some guys, but we're still playing to win.
A little bit of uncharted territory, though, for you and a lot of these guys with this many games left until the postseason. Are you leaning on each other, leaning on some outside sources?
Well, first we got the off day yesterday, which was huge to recollect ourselves. We come back to the ballpark. There's real games that are going to still go on. And I love the fact that our entire team said, without us talking to them, hey, we won the division. That's great. We want the best record. We want to keep winning. So we have a strong nucleus here. We got a strong group. We'll lean on each other. We'll play for each other.
Good luck tonight.
You got it.
It's AJ Hinch. Stay right there. Coming up, Colin McHugh will take the mound against the Chicago White Sox in the first game of this 3-game set.
About the playoffs. It's written one game,
Safe at home plate. Astros take the lead.
one play at a time. A long, hard season of working, laughing, and fighting together. And when the dust has settled, and you're standing at the mountaintop,
The Astros have won the Central Division title.
you celebrate. Because those moments don't come around very often. The Astros have written an amazing story in 2017.
The throw by Jake is in time. Astros win.
And they've earned their place at the mountaintop.
This ball is hit well to left field, and on the first batter of the season, George Springer hits a home run.
It's been a heck of a season, Houston. Enjoy the moment.
In the air. Who wants it? Correa. And for the first time in 16 years, the Astros are division champs.
Unforgettable moment on Sunday afternoon. Glad you could share part of it with us on AT&T Sportsnet if you weren't here in person. And we are back with you for the first game since the clinching. First time since 2001, the Houston Astros take the field as division champions. First of three against the Chicago White Sox. Colin McHugh on the mound against the White Sox. Kind of unusual in that the Astros have one of the best records in baseball. The only team they haven't beaten all year is a team that has the worst record in the American League that is playing the Astros for the next three games. Chicago sweeping the Astros earlier this year at Guaranteed Rate Field in Chicago. Yolmer Sanchez will lead things off against Colin McHugh. He's got a count of 0-1. And Colin catches the corner and is ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. He struggled in his start in Chicago earlier this year. Foul tip, doesn't struggle with the first batter tonight. 3 pitches and a strikeout to start this game as he retires Yolmer Sanchez. Rick Renteria has them lined up this way. We already saw Sanchez followed by Yoan Moncada, very talented young second baseman. Jose Abreu is at first. Nicky Delmonico in the cleanup spot. Avisail Garcia is in right field. DH is Matt Davidson. Tim Anderson, the shortstop. Kevin Smith behind the plate. And Adam Engel is in center field. As you might imagine, Blummer, with a team that struggled this year, they're getting a lot of at-bats for a lot of young players.
And that's why the strikeouts are up. They've got 6 guys with 100+ strikeouts in this line. I mean, in this 25-man roster that they have.
Moncada, Yoan Moncada was a big-time thorn in the Astros side in that series sweep in Chicago, and he starts this series with a base hit into left center field.
Calling on the mound, he is making his 100th start for the Houston Astros. He is 45-28 with a 3.70 ERA for the Houston Astros. Only his 3rd start here at Minute Maid Park this season. He is 1-0 with a 0.54 in those 3 starts here at Minute Maid Park. Of course, that slider has been a highly effective pitch for him. Got roughed up last time out in Oakland. Also came out of that ball game after 3 innings with a fingernail blister issue.
Good to see Colin back on the mound as he faces Jose Abreu. Runner on first base and 1 out. Abreu having another big season. 4 straight outstanding years in a White Sox uniform as he takes a pitch inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Abreu starting the night with 31 home runs, 97 runs batted in. He is just 3 RBI shy of joining a very exclusive club. 4 years to start a career, 25 or more home runs, 100 or more RBIs has happened twice in Major League Baseball history. Jolton Joe DiMaggio back in the 30s, and then Albert Pujols to begin his career. Abreu with 3 more RBIs becomes the 3rd, and he's ahead of the count here, 3-0. A little different atmosphere than Sunday, but the Astros realize they have to play with the same intensity. It's not a clinch day. It's not a game against a team that has a chance to make the postseason. There's still a lot on the line in the final 13 games. We touched on many of those items just a few minutes ago. Pitch misses outside to Abreu. And after a single, Abreu draws a walk. Here's the defense behind Colin McHugh in this first game of the 3-game series. Marwin Gonzalez, who plays everywhere, will be in left field tonight. George Springer and Josh Reddick round out your outfield. Alex Bregman and Carlos Correa on the left side. Jose Altuve after the day off Sunday, plus the scheduled day off yesterday, back in there. And Yuli Gurriel at first base with Brian McCann behind the plate. McHugh will now face Nicky Delmonico. Delmonico was 5 for 11 in the series against the Astros up in Chicago, including 3 for 3 against Colin McHugh. McHugh starts him off with a breaking ball that he misses. It's 0-1. despite the walk to Abreu, in general, this is a very aggressive team. They do not take many pitches. They do not draw many walks. Pitch misses outside. It's 1-1. McHugh in that start, only lasting 5 1/3 innings. Plummer mentioned his last start only lasted 3 innings due to that blister issue. 5 1/3 in his start against the White Sox. There's a fastball and a swing and a miss. Delmonico down the count 1-2.
I think it was that start against the Chicago White Sox in Chicago where we kind of looked up and said, it's not looking good coming off the DL with that second start, but the next 4 starts after that turned out to be pretty good, even though he only went 3 in his last outing. The 3 in between, he gave up 1 earned run.
Swing and a miss. McHugh has a couple of strikeouts in this game as he gets Delmonico for the second out. Time to play presented by Toyota. When you talk about the leading hitters in the American League, Jose Altuve has been pacing the way for most of the season. Recently, Avisaíl Garcia has made a big run to move into second place with that .333 batting average. And Altuve can watch his closest competitor head-to-head for the next 3 nights, because after Garcia, there's another gap of about 10 or 12 points to Eric Hosmer. Garcia fouls one back. Garcia had a 5-for-5 game a few days ago, and he is hitting .452 in his last 10 games. It's still a comfortable margin for Altuve, but it's not as big. The gap at one point was in the 20-30 point range. Yeah, when you start to get guys in that 500 to 600 range as far as at-bats and plate appearances and all that kind of stuff, you really have to be doing some damage to gain 15 points on a guy. He hits one right to Altuve, who backhand flips to his buddy Correa for the final out of the inning. So Garcia hits one right to the guy ahead of him in the batting race. Southwest Airlines, George Springer with those team-leading 32 home runs will lead things off, followed by Josh Reddick. Jose Altuve hits in the 3 spot. Carlos Correa cleans up as the shortstop. Marlon Gonzalez is in left. Alex Bregman, Carlos Beltran DHs, Yuli Gurriel at first base, and Brian McCann behind the plate, batting 9th.
On the mound for the Chicago White Sox, you were looking at Lucas Giolito. He came over from the Washington Nationals. He was a coveted prospect. Came over in the Adam Eaton trade with Dane Dunning and Ronaldo Lopez, who has pitched very well also for the Chicago White Sox. He's got some strong bloodlines that we'll talk about later in the game, but he's 23 years old, 6'6", 255-pounder. He has, out of his last 4 starts, he has 3 quality starts.
And he starts off George Springer with a fastball for a called strike. It's 0-1. Springer has been on base his last 3 times to wrap up that clinch day on Sunday, including his 32nd home run of the year. Scored a couple of runs. He's up to 102 in that category. Takes another pitch for a strike, and it's 0-2. Mike Everett behind the plate tonight, the crew chief, and a guy who will call a lot of strikes. He is generally a pitcher's friend.
Pitchers have friends.
A couple umpires.
Mostly other pitchers.
Sparky has friends. Isn't Sparky your
by
friend?
default.
1-2 the count. See, you say this 2 days after Dallas Keuchel had the opportunity to be interviewed by Julia or you.
Oh, he made the right choice. You heard about that, huh?
Well, he brought it up in the interview, so
that was great. I couldn't believe it. I mean, in the moment, Dallas Keuchel was forced to make a decision, and he made the right one.
Wow.
I'm going to carry that one around forever, Julia.
Wow. My feelings are still hurt.
I couldn't believe it. I was shocked.
Well, he's done 9,000 interviews with me, so he's probably sick of me by now. Fair enough.
But when the moment counted.
I know, right? I threw my goggles down in disgust.
You did. You actually did.
Disappointed.
She snapped.
Yeah, so tell me about that. You didn't go to Goggles, Plummer, right?
No.
Julie, you went to Goggles about halfway through?
No, I actually didn't. I asked Devo where he got his goggles because Chris Stavinsky was wearing them during the interview, which was great. But he actually found some for me. And then I put them on for a second, took them off after realizing how goofy I looked. And they don't really do a whole lot, so went without. Oh my gosh, we have this on video. Look at that.
Did you see how I enticed him to come over?
Watch the goggles.
The goggles went flying to the floor.
She was so upset.
But you still got a selfie out
still
of it.
get a selfie out of it. This would be a great time for a selfie.
Julie, a lot of people on social media were concerned about the hair. Everything good?
Yeah, I got a compliment that it was shiny today, and I think it must be something in that champagne. It's treatment.
Yes.
Is what it was.
A lot of protein in beer.
There's a shot where I saw someone pouring red Powerade onto my head.
Oh, wow.
Who brought the Powerade in the glass? Where did that come from?
That is not conducive to a good hair day.
No.
Well, at least it was red. Just made my red hair a little more red. No.
You guys did a great job. I got to watch some of it live and the rest of it on DVR, and that was awesome. Because that's not easy, but you guys, you handled it extremely well. I loved every moment of it, but I don't know if there was a better moment than Yuli Gurriel doing an English interview.
That was awesome. That was incredible.
Who needs this translator?
Yeah.
Poor Alex Cintron. We don't need you.
Josh Reddick, the batter, with a 2-2 count.
Not real sure who's seeing us back at home, but
Powerade, Yuli.
Blue.
oh, there's blue. So I had red and
I've
blue.
got Michael Felice here to help me, but
That's tough to watch
There's
out.
red.
That's sticky.
So red and
Oh,
blue.
I think it's red too.
That's purple then, right?
No, you are
Yeah.
So Michael Felice is supposed to be helping with the translation.
He's too
Said he's
busy,
taking video.
Yeah, he's too busy videoing the whole thing.
Right, that was live video footage back to his followers. Incredible English, though. We have to remind everyone he came to America just over a year ago, knew did zero English, and has worked really hard to get to this point. So, props to him.
Props to Josh Reddick for a base hit into center field. Reddick does it again at home. He's never going to want to leave Minute Maid Park the way he hits here. He just continues to get the job done with his home AB.
Yeah, he might be the one having a team meeting before these games and saying, boys, we need to win out. More games at home is better for me.
Jose Altuve. And the MVP signs have made its way to Minute Maid Park.
Rightfully so.
When the players were coming off one by one after leaving the clubhouse and heading back to the field where their friends and family were waiting for them. But Altuve went back in. He signed a couple of autographs, and the chants of MVP were ringing throughout the ballpark. Swings at the first pitch, sends one high to right center field. Going back on it is Garcia. He's there. Reddick will bluff the tag and stay. Altuve hits one to the edge of the warning track for out number 2.
Lucas Giolito on the mound. We're going to take a look at his pitch usage, brought to you by AT&T. There's that fastball 60% of the time. It says that he's averaging 92.3 miles an hour on that fastball. Rumors have it that he can get to 95 when he wants to, but that batting average against it at 188. The average against it on a whole is 170. But it goes to that curveball and slider next. He also has a changeup where their hitters are hitting 111 against it. Some very good pitches from a young pitcher early on in his career.
Astros obviously facing him for the first time, so a lot of these guys kind of see some pitches the first time through and report back to the dugout. He's a talented young arm as he delivers a strike at the top of the zone to Carlos Correa.
It's an interesting slide step. It's something that some young pitchers have a tough time learning because they're not too worried about base runners coming up through the ranks, but once they get here, they got to focus on those guys at first.
Big frame, 6'6", 255. And he delivers another strike to Correa, who's down on the count 0-2. Giolito appeared in 6 games last year with the Nationals, 4 as a starter. Made his American League debut on August 22nd against the Twins. Runner on the move and a slashing foul ball off the bat of Correa. Stays 0-2. Of all the good things that happened Sunday, and there were plenty of them, Carlos Correa hitting his first home run coming back from the DL was a big one. Correa hitting his 21st home run, is now hitting 300 in his last 8 games. He wrapped up the scoring for the Astros in that 7-1 victory. Doesn't chase, it's upstairs, it's 1-2. Correa hit a homer. George Springer hit his 32nd. Marwin hit a 2-run home run. It all started with a Derek Fisher 2-run home run to straightaway center field off the batter's eye. Reddick was on the move on a previous 0-2 pitch. Counts now 1-2. Josh is 7 for 9 in steals this year. Broken bat. Anderson jumps forward and makes the play for the final out. So 1 hit, 1 man left on base. We head to the second, scoreless. Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Multiple beverages.
I'm still asking questions. Never stop.
The microphone is always poised, Julia.
Yeah, don't give in.
Colin McHugh ready for a second inning of work. You guys were both part of the 2015 celebration. Right back in there 2 years later. How are your comparisons between the two?
I was less nervous.
Same.
The first time around, the 2015, I was very nervous.
You know what? Watching myself, what I learned from 15 was to lean back if someone was about to pour something on my head so it wouldn't go into my eyes because it burns so bad. And then you're blind. So then you're trying to do an interview, not being able to see, and you're cold. So that's a pro tip right there.
That is.
That's
no,
something I
the
learned.
champagne stings like crazy. Beer's a little less, but champagne, ouch.
Celebration, though, two very different scenarios and two very different clubs, I will say. Both great in their own ways, but this one a little different, but just as good.
Guys had a blast as Colin McHugh picks up a strikeout to start the second inning. Obviously, being at home is a whole different dynamic, too. Last time they clinched on the road in Arizona. So a lot of the families were here.
Well, like Julia was talking about, it was different in the sense that they were a little bit of a surprise in 2015. Kind of shocked the world making that wild card berth. So there was a lot of extreme excitement as opposed to here. It was a little more, for me, it felt like a little more relief. And they can enjoy it a little bit more.
I agree with that. You know, and just the youth on the team the first time around. And for a lot of the guys, it was the first time. This time around, there were definitely some first-timers on this team. We've talked about that leading up to it. But there are a lot of veterans on this club, including the Correas and Springer and Altuve, who got to do it in 15 and had worked so hard to get back to that. But like I said, both really incredible experiences for this Astros organization.
Thought it was interesting, too, listening to a Carlos Beltran, who's now in the postseason for a half dozen times. He kept focusing in on the message is this is just part of it. We still have to get the best record in the American League. So celebrate, enjoy it, but we still have something to play for the last 13.
It would be interesting to maybe look behind that comment a little bit and see if he was a little bit disappointed in 2004 with that great postseason run that he had here with the Houston Astros. Maybe he felt like a little shortchanged and wants to take it a couple steps further here with this team in 2017.
Well, he single-handedly did everything he could 13 years ago. The Astros would take half of that production from Carlos this year. There you see the best record in the AL. And Cleveland currently with 24 wins in their last 25 games, a game-and-a-half lead over the Astros. And the Astros with a 5.5 game lead over Boston. That's important, too. You don't want to start the first series on the road if you are the number 3 seed as the worst record of the 3 division winners.
Should be an interesting series this week with Cleveland going up against the Los Angeles Angels.
That's going to be a West Coast series out in Anaheim. We will follow along how the Indians fare there. Obviously a lot on the line for both. The Indians still looking for that 1 seed, and the Angels start the day trailing the Minnesota Twins in the wild card picture. There you see how they would line up today. Twins currently lead the Angels by a game-and-a-half. Red Sox would start as the road team against the Astros. 1-2 the count to Kevin Smith. Meanwhile, Colin McHugh has a chance to strike out the side here. He struck out Davidson, Matt Davidson swinging, got Tim Anderson swinging. Now he's ahead of Kevin Smith, a ball and 2 strikes.
Maybe we should just keep ignoring him.
I know. There's a ball hit hard, but Correa down to a knee. Nice sliding play as he retires Smith for the final out. Colin has retired 5 in a row, including 3 strikeouts in the mix.
between the White Sox and the Astros. 13 games left, including this one, but the Astros' first goal of the season in hand with the AL West Division Championship. Kind of uncharted territory, excuse me, when you look at where this team is, how many games they have left to play before the postseason becomes, how do they keep that momentum with all these games left before the games really start to count? Well, A.J. Hinch said, talking in just a couple of conversations that he had with some of his veterans, it was very clear they want the best record in the American League. Home field advantage being very important to him. So he found that a good thing, that his club very quickly turning their attention to keep winning games, of course taking care of the White Sox in this first series, but definitely a situation that not a lot of these guys have been in. In fact, most of them have not been in. Talking to some of the veterans myself, including Francisco Liriano, who said, you know, it's a strange place to be, but it is a good place to be. However, we want to keep that fight and keep that momentum so that way we're sharp and ready to go for game one. Todd?
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch these last 13 games, especially what Jose Altuve does down the stretch, approaching 200 hits for the 4th consecutive year. Also trying to secure as a team that #1 seed. Marwin having a career year. Where will his final numbers end up? He's up to 22 home runs, 82 runs batted in. Currently tied with Josh Reddick for the team lead in RBIs. You would have said at the beginning of spring training, with 2 weeks to go in the season, Reddick and Marwin would be tied for your team lead in RBIs. At 82, you would think could be a disappointing year, but it's been anything but. The team has the most runs scored in all of baseball. They just get the job done 1 through 9 in the lineup.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a matter of them spreading the wealth. Might have been a little bit different if you had George Springer throughout the course of the season, because we talked about early on maybe being that 100-run, 100 RBI type guy. And then Carlos Correa, who knows what numbers he would have put up if he had a healthy full season.
It's an unusual season for a number of reasons. They aren't going to have a 100 RBI guy. They barely may get their team leader to 90, and they're not going to have a guy, as you mentioned a little while ago, other than Mike Fiers. Nobody's going to be at 150 innings, and nobody's going to be qualified. You need 162 innings to be qualified. So nobody other than Justin Verlander has pitched enough innings as an Astro to qualify. That's what makes what they've done incredible, because they clinched a game 149, earliest in franchise history, yet they're not going to have a pitcher that qualifies, you know, other than Mike Fiers over that 150 mark. So it's a credit to depth. That's one way to look at it, that they've been deep enough and had guys step up at the appropriate moments to keep them in the fight and eventually win early. In the other sense, you've got time to get these guys right before you head to the playoffs. Alex Bregman is one guy who really carried the torch during the injuries to Correa and Springer and the catchers during that stretch. Bregman tailing off just a little bit lately, still hitting .279 on the year, but over .315 for the last 2 months plus. Hits the ball hard, but on one hop, second baseman Moncada makes the play, and there's 2 away. Tomorrow night is the last Dollar Dog Wednesday of the season. One more chance to enjoy some Dollar Dogs and watch the Astros take on the White Sox. Get your tickets for Dollar Dog Wednesday by visiting astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. Last chance for people to set their PBs, their personal best for hot dogs in a game. Got to do it. Say I could probably go for 3. Oh, come on. I mean, if I didn't want to get sick the next day, I could probably do like 5 if I really. Your personal best, and you're gonna cap it at 3 because you don't want to be icky the next day. 3 for comfort. Maybe 4. I'd put away 5 if I had to. I mean, I've eaten a whole large pizza before. I could probably put away 5 or more, but I'm not sure about the next day how I'd feel. But tomorrow, that's it. No more Dollar Dogs. It's unfortunate. At least regular season Dollar Dogs. Yeah, I don't even know about it. We'll have to ask tomorrow. Postseason dogs are going to hold their price, I think. I think so. And we should have, as long as the Astros continue to lead Boston by that margin, we should have some idea next week what that schedule is going to look like for postseason. Because if you have the home field advantage in the first round, regardless of whether you're the 1 or the 2 seed, you play on the same days. So we'll know hopefully as early next week, mid next week, exactly when the Astros will be playing in the postseason. 2-1 to Carlos Beltran, takes a called strike. It's 2-2. There you see it the rest of the way. Last 2 games against teams that are currently not in the hunt. You're going to have the Angels. They're chasing a wild card. Texas is on the edge, but they are still in there. Obviously a big rival. And then the Boston Red Sox trying to win the AL East.
Could really set up and be a bizarre last 4 days of the season.
Could, if you play the team that you're going to play in the playoffs. As Abreu takes it on a couple of hops and a strong 1-2-3 inning for the 23-year-old Lucas Giolito.
Know where you can find it is Twitter. You have to follow us at ATT Sportsnet SW. That way you can vote. We ask you today, which Astros storyline excites you the most in the season's final 2 weeks? Is it Altuve and his race for MVP? Or is it who makes up the postseason rotation? Or is it Springer Correa getting in rhythm? Or the fight for the American League best record? Let us know who you think. We'll tell you the results a little bit later on. Todd?
All right, Julia, a lot of storylines to follow here in the final 13, even though the AL West has been decided, as Colin McHugh delivers a strike to Adam Engel to start the 3rd. Colin McHugh's in part of that discussion also, as he tries to solidify a spot in that rotation for the postseason. Colin has been very good this time of year the last 3 seasons. And today is a Twitter Tuesday, so go ahead and send your tweets to at ATT Sportsnet SW. Need to overtake the Tribe in the center field. Springer on the move, now drifts back. He's in front of the track and he puts it away for the first out of the 3rd inning. Here is our Twitter Tuesday topic of the day, and we're asking you, how important is it for the Astros to end up with the best record in the AL, and how should AJ Hinch and the team approach playing these final 13 games? You can send it to any of us, or even better, at ATT Sportsnet SW. There were a couple people on there that were asking for comments on the Josh Reddick attire in the post-game celebration. I think their picture says 1,000 words, so if you saw it, there wasn't much more to comment on other than that.
Yeah, I'm going to leave it right there, just dangle it out there.
Yolmer Sanchez will bat. 1 out and nobody on. Josh,
he's a big fan of America.
He is very patriotic.
Yep.
Of course, he was asked about comparisons to Colby Rasmus, and he quickly dismissed those conversations and said, "I'm my own guy."
Yeah, this is next level type stuff that he went with.
Reddick having a good time in his first year with the Houston Astros. He is back to the postseason for the 5th time in the last 6 years. 2-1 pitch is a swing and a miss. It's 2-2. And he's done it with 3 different teams. I don't think that's by accident. Obviously, the Dodgers coveted him last year and acquired him for their push. And he is a great guy on the field, in the clubhouse. Fans have taken to him quickly.
So you're saying this is premeditated?
Whoever he plays with?
Yeah, he had experience in the past with these celebrations. He said, I got to set the bar even higher.
That I don't know. I'm not sure what the judge.
Well, I think he has. That was impressive.
Reddick tapping on that glove, making sure he has a grip in case the ball comes his way. Instead, it's sliced foul off the bat of Yolmer Sanchez. It's 2-2. Colin got through the lineup the first time, allowing 1 hit and 1 walk. He struck out 3. McHugh was available out of the bullpen in the recent series against the Mariners. AJ did not find a spot for him, so back in the rotation, working with extended rest after that finger issue, the blister, and that pitch misses outside. It's 3-2.
Let's get some super glue. Some miracle Band-Aid.
Springer gets another chance as he drifts back. He's right on the track now. Hit well the other way by Yolmer Sanchez, sending George back all the way to in front of the bullpen for the second out. Yoan Moncada had quite a series against the Astros first time around.
Really did. These are the numbers including today. It's only hitting .500, but the times he was getting those hits too were just aggravating for the Houston Astros. Switch hitting from both sides of the plate, playing a solid second base.
Mentioned tonight's starter came over in the Adam Eaton deal. That was the second deal of the winter meetings that the White Sox were involved with. Yoan Moncada with a base hit into right center field. He's now 2 for 2. He owns the only 2 White Sox hits. Moncada was the primary piece coming back in exchange for Chris Sale in the first deal. Michael Kopech, also very talented right-hand pitcher. Well, the White Sox decided in the winter meetings in the Washington, D.C. area that they were going to go younger, trading Sale and then trading Eaton. You're seeing some of the return not only in this game but throughout the month of September and part of August. Here's Jose Abreu. Abreu swings and misses. 0-1. He throws that slider around 79-80, breaks off that curveball around 74-75. There goes the runner. Good pitch to take off on. And sliding safely to second is Moncada with his 3rd steal of the year.
Some of the tools that Yoan has is high batting average and the ability to steal bases. You know that the opposing teams have taken advantage of Brian McCann and Evan Gattis. See on our Mattress Firm Supermo cam. Altuve getting up, the slide going underneath.
So it's 1-1 to Abreu. Abreu getting a high dosage of breaking balls. Gets a fastball there, and McCann caught that late, almost as if he was expecting a breaking ball. So he goes out and talks to Colin McHugh. McCann's glove looked like it was ready to go down and away. Instead, he had to adjust as that fastball stayed on the plate.
Good catch. It's not easy to do.
Brian's had a few cross-ups this year. He's worn a few.
These guys have been around each other for a while now. Start taking that personally.
This one's blocked. Pitch in the dirt is 2-2. McCann, what an addition. He's playing in his 6th postseason. 4 with the Braves, 1 with the Yankees, and now as a member of the AL West Division champion Houston Astros. He is everything they could have hoped for in the offseason when he agreed to be traded to the Astros. The fact that he was on his way to a retirement party for David Ross the night of the trade and made sure he called A.J. Hinch that night. Said, I want to get as much information and as much video sent to me tomorrow. That's impressive. That's a guy on a new team that went to work literally hours after becoming an Astro. Breaking ball ripped into left field. The White Sox are on the board first with a base hit to the wall by Abreu. Moncada scores. The throw towards second, and it's wide. And Abreu has an RBI double. It's 1-0 Chicago.
That was a hanging slider from Colin McHugh. You see it on our MD Anderson strike zone. Wanted to get that thing down and away. Stayed up about mid-thigh. Plenty of time for a hitter like Jose Abreu, who is accustomed to driving in runs, to get out ahead of it and yank it into that left field corner.
Stolen base ends up being big. Not sure if Moncada scores from first on that ball that was ripped to left field. Here's Nicky Delmonico. RBI number 98 for Abreu. Monaco takes a pitch outside for ball one. '98 RBIs, currently 5th in the American League in that department.
It was his 75th extra base hit this season.
That's a bunch.
37th double.
31 home runs. That means he has a handful of triples also.
I say it's 5 or 6. I looked it up a long time ago, maybe a couple hours. 6 triples.
(3-0) to Delmonico, who struck out his first time up. It was the first time McHugh recorded an out against Nicky, who was 3 for 3 in Collins' last start up in Chicago. Now back to the screen. McHugh allowing a single, stolen base, and a double to Moncada and Abreu, same two that were on base in the first inning. Being down 3-0, the count's full on Delmonico. Hugh facing this White Sox team for the 5th time in his career. Hasn't had a whole lot of offensive support during his previous 4 starts, just a run and a half per start. Slowly hit back to the mound. Nice backhand play by McHugh to get Delmonico, who hit that one off the end of his bat. But a run scores on a couple of hits, and the White Sox lead 1-0.
spotlight is going to fall on the Houston Astros, of course, and what they've done in their last 12 games against wild card contenders, namely the Angels and Mariners. They have won 10 of the last 12, and in this season, they have won 14 of 19 games against the Seattle Mariners, tearing them to shreds. But it's a good thing that they are beating up on those teams. They are in their division, so they do have the opportunity to play against them 19 times. But those are no slouches. The Astros playing very good baseball within their division to win that division.
20 games over 500 in the AL West as Yuli Gurriel takes a called strike. 45 wins within the division. By far the best in baseball. The next closest, the Diamondbacks have 142 in the NL West. And the Washington Nationals have 142 against the NL East.
Reasonable runs per game at just over 4.5, but the starting pitching ERA at 2.91 kind of explains the fact that they were holding down two pretty good offenses down to a 2.91 ERA.
That's pretty significant with those two offenses, the Mariners and the Angels. The Indians do have a better record within their division. They have 46 wins. There's a base hit in the left field. Yuli Gurriel on base. Leadoff hitter in the third inning. The Angels still a game and a half out of the wild card picture starting tonight's play. The Mariners, after being swept, are 4 games back. When you think about the timing, the Mariners saw Keuchel and Verlander twice in the last 2 series.
Yeah, it's not going to help your cause against opposing pitching. Back-to-back series, we got to face those two.
Plus, it was Verlander on a possible clinch day.
Yeah, I mean, he was just flat out angry the first time he was pitching as an Astro, and then he had the clinching opportunity and he stepped up.
Brian McCann takes a called strike. McCann always faces the shift no matter who he plays, but when there's a runner on first base, he at least keeps the second baseman on the infield, which can give him a little bit of an advantage, trying to scoop one past, in this case, Yoan Moncada. Normally they play in shallow right field against McCann with no one on. Try and turn 2, at least that's the thought process. At the infield position where they are, and McCann down on the count 0-2. Ryan's reached in 13 of his last 14 games, hitting .318 during that stretch. Which misses away. It's 1-2. Just missed the inside corner. It's 2-2. Kevin Smith thought they may have had a strike. And just staying alive. Giolito's been effective with his changeup his last few starts. And McCann able to spoil one that was meant to be a strikeout pitch off the plate. Another good AB by the Astros. Brian McCann down in the count 0-2. Now working it back full. Fouling off a tough 2-2 pitch. What this team has done, they're the team with the fewest strikeouts in baseball, yet have scored the most runs. They can extend pitch counts and at bats as well as any team in the league. McCann doing it again. Every other team in the American League has at least 1,000 strikeouts. Next closest would be Cleveland at 1,077. Tied with Kansas City. The Astros coming into today and struck out 90 fewer times, 987 total. McCann in the air, shallow center. Going back is Anderson. The shortstop's there, puts it away for the first out. And Yuli's recorded out at second base as they threw to first, and Gurriel did not get back apparently.
That's not good.
Seemed like a routine pop-up.
Yuli was off maybe about a quarter of the way, halfway, watching the play from Moncada, but really no reason to extend. As soon as you see him camped under it. And he's out. They're not going to review that one. It's not good baseball.
Just before the foot came down, Yuli a little too casual coming off that bag with the pop-up. And now Springer grounds one to short. Anderson, who made a good heads-up play on the pop-up, gets Springer for the final out of the inning. So Giolito gets through that inning with only facing 3 batters. We are through 3 in a 1-0 game. Fitting postseason gear in full effect at the team store today. There was a big line right after the game Sunday to try and get in there because they had that stuff ready to go as early as the clinch day on Sunday. AL West Division Championship shirts. The Astros winning the division for the first time since 2001. We start the 4th with Avisail Garcia, Matt Davidson, and Tim Anderson duo. Colin McHugh allowing a run in the last inning, trailing 1-0 as we play in the 4th. The year before, the last time the Astros won a division, the 2000 season, there were a total of 5,693 home runs hit that year in the major leagues. That was the all-time record that is held ever since until this year. There are currently the exact same number of home runs, 5,693 home runs have been hit this year, including tonight. So the next home run will set the record in the history of the major leagues for the most home runs in one season. And there's still 12 more dates to go.
It's a lot of home runs.
Tons of home runs, tons of strikeouts.
You got any theories?
I think guys have changed their swings a little bit.
I think they've changed their swings a little bit. And how about 2-strike approaches? Does anybody have one anymore?
No. I'll go back. You know, it wasn't that long ago when you were playing, but there was a lot of theories in the game back in the day about swinging down the baseball. That's pretty much out the window.
Yeah, you're trying to create lift now. Get that ball in the air. Elevate to celebrate. A lot of celebrations this year and counting.
With all the analytics that are out there about exit velocity and launch angle, we see guys take different approaches than ever before. There's a 2-strike hit for Avisail Garcia. Well, he is 1 for 2, just past the diving Jose Altuve, who he's chasing in the American League batting race. Garcia, leadoff base runner. So yeah, 2-strike approaches I think are a good one. I mean, the ball this year just seems to have carried.
It seems like it is flying out of the ballpark. New Braves Stadium.
The ball has definitely carried well this year. There have been a few home runs hit here that Crawford boxes have aided. Some fly balls in most stadiums. So the combination of things. But yes, that's a long time to go. 2000 to 2017 without the record being challenged. Then all of a sudden, not only do they break it, but they're going to shatter it with the rest of tonight, plus 12 more dates on the MLB calendar.
And you can subtract one of the arguments that was used back in 2000, considering they're testing for it a little more regularly.
That's the other thing. That was the steroid era. And now you've got guys that are being tested on a regular basis, and here they are eclipsing that season, plus everybody else or every other year when steroids or performance enhancing drugs may have been in play. It's definitely, if you like the long ball, this is the season for you. It will be shattered with the next home run. 0-2 the count to Matt Davidson.
So according to Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, there's a certain demographic that might be buying more tickets to come and watch the long ball.
Chicks. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Davidson goes down. Strikeout for McHugh is his 4th of the game. Don't miss the final regular season home game and fan appreciation night. Fans in attendance for the Sunday night home game will get a 2017 team photo as well as a 2018 schedule pen presented by Saltgrass Steakhouse. Visit astros.com/promotions for tickets and info. Here's Tim Anderson swinging through a pitch. Anderson struck out his first time up. He has faced Colin McHugh 7 times. He either has a hit or a strikeout in all 7 at bats. 4 for 7 with 3 Ks. Breaking ball catches the corner. It's 0-2.
Not where he wants it, but still creates enough break to kind of get that inside corner on the curve.
This is a team in general that does not hit the breaking ball very well. Anderson doesn't chase there. Off-speed pitches have given Anderson some trouble, especially that down and away pitch this year. But he was able to lay off that 0-2 delivery from McHugh. Fastball upstairs. It's 2-2. Bounces away from McCann on the 2-2 pitch. That'll send Garcia into scoring position on what should be a wild pitch charged to Colin McHugh.
Just overthrew that breaking ball, spiked it, and it jumped out in front of home plate, up and caught the mask of Brian McCann. Not much you can do about that.
Garcia and Altuve, there are your top 2 hitters in the American League. Garcia with that base hit up to 334. On the ground, Bregman has it. Makes a nice play to record the out on Anderson. Garcia moves to third with 2 outs.
All this excitement down the stretch. One thing we got to remember is that Alex Bregman is not your average third baseman. He's got a lot of range, and he has shown it here in the last, for me, maybe 2 months of really having some good footwork. A good look at it on our Mattress Firm Supermo of him going to his left, making that play, a tough play, look relatively easy.
He has been smooth over there defensively and been better every month as the season has progressed. So now McHugh can see his way out of it with 2 outs. Kevin Smith the batter. Astros saw Smith in 1 game in that 3-game series up in Chicago. He went 2 for 3 with a home run and 4 RBIs. In the opener, didn't see him the next 2 games. He has a 10-game hitting streak going, batting .324 during that stretch. In the air center field, Springer should put it away, and McHugh should be through 4 with his team trailing 1-0, and he is.
The Houston Astros this week on a brand new Astros Bases Loaded. The team discusses one of their favorite pastimes. Jeff Bagwell explains his iconic batting stance, and we take a look back at the dramatic pennant chase of 2001. All that and more on Astros Bases Loaded, only on AT&T Sportsnet.
Always look forward to those shows. Final homestand of the year continues with Game 4 of 9. Tomorrow will be the middle game of the homestand. Angels are in town over the weekend to wrap up the 2017 regular season home schedule, as Josh Reddick takes a pitch from Lucas Giolito for a ball, 1-0. Giolito got some help with a double play last inning, but he's only faced 1 over the minimum so far through 3. Reddick with a base hit his first time up. Josh coming in 4th in the American League in batting at that .315 mark. Gets a changeup on the 2-0 pitch. called strike. Giolito picks up a strikeout. That's his second strikeout, his first since the first batter of the game. Josh slams his helmet on his way back to the dugout. Congratulations to Jose Altuve. He was honored before the game as a 2017 Lou Gehrig Award winner. This is a national award that is given out each year to the player who best exemplifies the character of Lou Gehrig on the field and in the community. Jose Altuve, who has won a lot of honors in his young career, named the Lou Gehrig Award winner. And Altuve sends one deep to right field. Garcia back, gone! Altuve matches his career high with his 24th home run. And just like that, the game is tied at 1. Where are the chants?
MVP. Tying this ball game up, tying a career high for home runs in a season with that 24th, hit 24 last year. Might have surprised himself by hitting that ball out the other way.
Snuck it over the right field wall by about a row or two. Here's Carlos Correa. Altuve just missed setting the major league record, didn't he?
He did. Alex Gordon just beat him to the punch. When we were in commercial break, we saw that Alex Gordon hit the home run that broke the season home run record for Major League Baseball. Altuve jumped on it right behind him. It's pretty close. Look back at that home run from Jose Altuve. Giolito wanting that pitch up out over the plate, but it stayed middle in. Altuve cleared that front side out in order to get the barrel to it, drove right through it.
There's that little scissors move he talked about, learning from his buddy Miguel Cabrera, that has helped out his power. 24 home runs with 12 games to go. Now has 78 runs batted in.
Can you just go ahead and reshoot that commercial he did instead of saying pretty good? I'm really good.
I can imagine the producer of that commercial saying, "I'd like you to say you're really good," and him saying, "No."
Yeah, he's like, "No, I don't think so.
I'm pretty good.
Yeah, I'm just pretty good."
I'm pretty good.
I'm not sure what planet he's from, but that's pretty good.
It's been fun to watch day in, day out, with Correa down for 42 games, with Springer down for 13 games. Really all the way around the field, there have been injuries all season long. Corners have stayed relatively healthy with Gurriel and Bregman, but other than that, Altuve's been the one constant. Marwin has played all year long. He's played pretty much every position there is. On the ground towards short, two big hops for Anderson. And Correa out for the second time in this game. What a year it could be for Altuve. He certainly is the favorite right now for the MVP. It could be in a season in which his team goes very far into October. Those fans hoping to see the final series in the World Series be the Astros' accomplishment this year. The voting will happen before the postseason starts. It would be tough right now to find somebody having a better year than Jose Altuve. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. Smash base hit to the left side. And Marwin a two-out base runner. I like what you said in the post-game interview with Marwin about how Altuve could be the MVP of the league and Marwin could be, in a way, the MVP of the team, because the reality is, because he plays so many different positions, allows A.J. Hinch to configure his lineup however he wants it.
And I got a little selfish right there, just being an ex-utility guy and trying to respect the fact that Marwin, like you said, has moved all over the field, yet the offensive numbers have not dipped at all whatsoever. But it was also some of those clutch situations where Altuve and Correa and these guys were on ahead of him, and he came through with the big hit to drive in some runs. He's definitely had a big hand in winning a lot of these ball games for the Astros.
I mean, no doubt, some of the biggest hits all year long, and he had a big 2-run home run in the clincher on Sunday. You're right. He has allowed A.J. Hinch to have a 3-man bench for the majority of the season, which also gives you an extra arm in the bullpen. Just an invaluable part of this team, Marwin Gonzalez. Bregman into left field, cutting across, and that's going to be a hit. Past Delmonico all the way to the wall. Marwin coming around third. He's going to score. Alex Bregman, an RBI double in the left center, and the Astros have their first lead. It's 2-1.
It's a really good swing by Alex Bregman, bringing the hands to get to the pitch inside to drive Marwin in by shooting that ball in the gap. That was a hanging slider, so he had a little bit of extra time to get the foot down and recognize and bring the hands in to be able to get to contact and drive through it. You'll hear me say true line drive a lot. That was a true line drive. Sometimes you bring your hands in so well that you square it up and there's no curve or arc to that baseball. It stays on a line, on one line. That was one of them.
Beltran to Hopper to Yoan Moncada for the final out of the inning. But the Astros take the lead with 2 in the 4th.
Jose Altuve adding to that home run total for Major League Baseball, 5,695th home run this season in baseball.
Presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By the all-new 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best limited truck warranty. See dealer for warranty details. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new really big chicken sandwich combo for just $3.99 for a limited time only. 5th inning baseball, Colin McHugh working with a lead for the first time tonight. And he delivers a strike to the number 9 hitter, Adam Engel, who flied out to center field his first time up. Engel's been hitting better lately, batting .289 in his last 10 games, coming in .185 overall. Takes a pitch away, it's 1-1. He started the inning with 67 pitches. Might not be fully extended just based on the fact that he threw 50 in a shortened start in Oakland. And hasn't pitched since then. Last starting on the 8th of September. Springer puts one away in center field. George has been busy. There's one out in the 5th. Springer with 4 of the last 6 putouts. Here's Yolmer Sanchez. Sanchez takes a called strike. McHugh has struck out Sanchez, and also Sanchez flied out deep to center field. Colin has 4 strikeouts in this game. For Colin, there's a lot at stake in these final few starts. Who are the 4 that are going to start in the postseason? Into right center field. Long run for Reddick. Still on the move. He's going to get there as he crosses paths with George Springer for out number 2.
Talk about that spider web and that reference to the range this outfield has. This is a good example of it. That's George Springer in the left-hand corner of your screen. Coming out of nowhere is the original Astros Spider-Man, and Josh Reddick. Long way for him to go. He basically caught that in center field. Deep center field.
This is an outfield with those 2 guys, and Derek Fisher or Cameron Maven patrol the outfield. They can cover a lot of ground. See if McHugh can get Yoan Moncada out. He has 2 of the 4 hits against the Astros right-hander tonight. Couple of singles. Moncada stole a base and scored a run his last time up. Counts 1-1. AJ Hinch, who is normally complimentary of his opposition, was extremely complimentary of the Chicago White Sox team and the future that they have in front of them. Talked about Moncada being a future superstar. He is shown some good at bats against the Astros for sure in the first 4 games of this 6-game season series. Just turned 22 years old on May 27th. A little late there. 2-2. Just missed the corner. The count's full. This is Colin's 100th start of his Astros career. And his 10th since coming off the DL. In on the hands, goes the other way, and that's going to be an infield hit for Moncada.
Just touch it.
Yoan Moncada 3 for 3 as he goes against the shift with an inside out base hit.
Some peanut butter with that jam sandwich. Battle up in the kitchen off the hands, but with that shift on and the speed of Yoan Moncada, it's an easy infield base hit, and ho hum, just another base hit against the Astros.
Well, Moncada's on base for the 3rd time, and now Colin will try and get Jose Abreu for the first time tonight. Abreu with a walk and an RBI double. Backs him off the plate. It's 1-0. Abreu in his last 33 games hitting .374 with 12 home runs and 29 runs batted in. There's a strike called. It's 1-1. It's a talented lineup Colin is facing. They've been really good during this recent 9-game stretch, scoring 69 runs during that time. 6-3 mark. Moncada stole a base his last time on. Chop towards third, and that's going to be a foul ball. Bregman makes the play just in case. Count's going to be 1-2 on Abreu. Mentioned McHugh's 100th start as an Astro. If he gets the win today, he will tie Wade Miller for the most wins in his first 100 starts as an Astro. 46. That would trail just Roy Oswalt and Joe Niekro.
I think Wade Miller got 35 of those wins at Miller Park. It was unbelievable.
Really?
The Brewers had no chance against him to begin with, and then you put him in Miller Park, and he was lights out. I'd have to look up the numbers, but he would every time we went into Miller Park, he may have been undefeated.
Ground ball towards third. Bregman threw his legs, and everybody's safe. One of the rare mistakes we have seen defensively from Alex Bregman in the last 2 or 3 months. And that'll be an error on Alex to prolong this inning.
Well, no sooner do we give him glowing remarks that he gets eaten up on an in-between. Little ground ball here, but that one stayed down on him. It looked like hit him in the heel of the glove. Just kind of got in between steps.
So Abreu on base for the 3rd time, albeit an error this time around. And now Colin has to work with 2 runners on and 2 outs to Nicky Delmonico.
You know, I was thinking about your pitch count comment about Colin McHugh, and I'm kind of curious about it too. There's some guys stirring out there in the bullpen, but the fact that he has thrown over 100 pitches, he's thrown 100 twice, 106 once, but he came out of that game early because of the fingernail issue, so he probably wasn't able to keep his same routine that he has in between starts, so they're probably keeping a close eye on that pitch count.
Right now he's going to be at 85 with this delivery. Curveball bounces in there. It's 2-0. Colin putting his perfect record on the line in September. 13-0 with a 2.88 ERA and 17 starts in September and October, going all the way back to 2014. Needs to get Nicky Delmonico here, though, in a 2-1 game in the 5th. Slicing, Marwin will give it a look. It's near the stands, and Marwin reaches in and can't quite make the play. Just beyond his reach as it hit the stairs and bounded into the crowd.
It's tough to go over there and get a good reach into the stands. You can see where the wall is angling. Pretty good effort at that. But if that wall is a little bit lower, maybe he reaches in there. Remember how I was talking about Wade Miller?
Yep.
He lost a game.
At Miller Park?
Yeah, unbelievable. He had a 2.0 ERA, but 6-1 in 8 starts at Miller Park.
And then they named it for him?
Yep.
In the air, shallow left. Out goes Bregman. Over comes Correa. Colin through the 5th with a 2-1 lead. We are halfway home. The Astros lead 2-1.
The Astros just fresh off winning that first division title in 16 years. AL West Championship merchandise has been on the shelves, and it's flying off the shelves as the retail store actually opened just as they clinched, and it was open for 24 hours straight. They did tell me that they're going to continue to get more merchandise in over the next couple of weeks, and then of course postseason, you're going to want your stuff for the postseason as well. But kudos to all those who stayed up all night. And think about it, they were actually up the night before that Saturday night awaiting the final of the Rangers-Angels game to see if the Astros would clinch on that night. Hopefully, all those team store employees have gotten some sleep since then, guys.
Yeah, it was a good off day for everybody yesterday, I think.
Oh, yeah.
But the team already has that merchandise going. I like Earned October, too, a play on
I saw that in the background, too. That one is a good one.
Play on the Earn It theme all season long. 0-2 the count to Yuli Gurriel facing Lucas Giolito. Well, Blummer, you were speculating about pitch count and Colin McHugh. He ended that last inning with 87 pitches, and we see Will Harris warming up in the bullpen. So 5 innings and 87 pitches might be the threshold tonight for Colin. 1-2 in on the hands to Yuli. After the celebration, do they try to clean the carpet in the clubhouse or replace it?
They give it their best effort, but we walked through there today. Didn't go so well. It still reeks.
There's a lot of residue on that carpet from the celebration on Sunday. Hopefully there's a couple more.
It's a good stench, though.
It is. It's a good reminder. In the air to left, Delmarco comes in, makes the play for out number 1. Let's hope the clubhouse crew has 1 or 2 more of those that they have to worry about as the year progresses. Then at the end of the season, they can toss the carpet.
Do whatever you want with that.
Yeah, if you got rid of the carpet after every celebration.
Oh, man. As happy as you would be about doing it, it'd be a little costly.
Yeah. Here's Brian McCann. McCann popped up his first time up. Turned out to be a double play as Yuli Gurriel was caught off first base. Third baseman Sanchez with a good head start. Got a good jump on that pop-up. And he records an out on McCann for the second out of the 5th.
Our Ford spray chart is driven by your Texas Ford dealers. Looking at George Springer's 32 home runs. Kind of interesting here at homer-friendly Minute Maid Park. He's only hit 15. He sprayed them all over the place. Got one off that batting eye in center field. But he's hit 17 on the road. And again, spraying them all over the place. 3 to center field. He's got 6 going to right field. So a good distribution of power for George Springer, both home, road, and he's not discriminate towards which field he's going to.
George has a pretty healthy lead for leading the team in home runs this year with those 32. It is his 28th birthday today.
Happy birthday, George.
See if he can hit one to celebrate his birthday. He hits one deep to right center field towards the Astros bullpen, but Garcia is there cutting across for the final out of the inning. So 1-2-3, 5th for Lucas Giolito. It's 2-1 Astros.
swept earlier this year in August in a 3-game set in Chicago. A tough one. We always talk about how we hope these teams move on so quickly, and they did. However, AJ Hinch said that today in his meetings, he did remind all the coaching staff and the players of what exactly happened in that series earlier this season long. So there would not be a repeat. A good reminder of what they did well against the Astros, and then just how far these guys have come since then. Of course, they were missing a few guys back then when you look back on what was going on with the club early August. Not their great month, but good reminder for these Astros as they look to flip the narrative here against the White Sox.
Now, let's hope so, Julia. They have not beaten the White Sox this year. Lead 2-1. They have been a tough customer to handle despite the worst record in the American League as Will Harris takes over in the 6th inning. He will face Avisail Garcia, Matt Davidson, and Tim Anderson. Colin McHugh, 5 innings of 5-hit, 1-run baseball, walked 1, struck out 5. Will misses on his first pitch, a breaking ball that stays inside.
It's good to see Will out there. Last pitched on the 15th against Seattle. Gave up 3 hits and an earned run through 21 pitches, and again, another one of those arms. Spent some time on the DL that they want to get right before they get into the playoffs, because this is a very good arm when healthy, very effective to both right-handers and left-handed hitters. But again, for me, it's velocity. He has good snap on that breaking ball, but you want to see Will Harris pitching in the low to mid 90s with that cut fastball.
First 2 were breaking balls and missed on a couple of curves. It's 2-0. There is that cutter at 92.
It's good to see if he can get the swing and miss on a fastball in a fastball count on a guy who hits fastballs relatively good. It's a good sign for Will.
Garcia 1 for 2 tonight. And it's now 2-2. AJ Hinch with 4 innings needed out of his bullpen tonight. A lot of times in these scenarios you'll see him go 1 inning at a time. Sharply hit, backhanded Correa, the throw in time. Carlos Correa makes a nice play to record an out on Avisail Garcia.
It's a great play, and to be honest, I'm not sure how he does it, how he dresses it up the way he does. This ball's smashed off the bat, but he goes down. He is on the ground before that ball bounces. It's not easy to go down that early and still be able to get a glove on it, then pop back up and throw a rocket over to first.
His double play partner doesn't need much help winning an AL batting title, but it doesn't hurt when the guy right behind him hits a rocket that turns into an out thanks to Correa. Let's see what's on Carlos's mind with the thoughts on his helmet.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody back in Puerto Rico, my goodness, had enough this hurricane season for sure.
Into left field off the end of the bat, Davidson flies out to Marwin, and there's 2 outs in the 6th inning. Will's so important in that bullpen because there aren't a lot of lefties out there, and Will has had great success against left-hand hitters throughout his career. He has held them to a sub-200 average at 194 coming into the season. Starts off Anderson with a breaking ball for a strike. Anderson is struck out and grounded out. Hugh leaving the game after 5 innings with the lead. His 100th career start as an Astro, could win his 46th game. He's kept that September record intact. Can only be the winning pitcher, cannot be the losing pitcher in this 2-1 contest. Harris ahead 1-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with the cutter at 93. Will Harris, a 1-2-3 inning, finishes it off with a strikeout. The bottom half of the 6th inning, it's time to play Name That Astro, presented by your local Honda dealer. Clues today are Dodger Blues, Supernova, eating them up. If you know the answer, tweet your response to @ATT Sportsnet SW. It's also a Twitter Tuesday. That's where you send your tweets as well, as we ask you about the importance of these final 13 games of the season. Josh Reddick leads things off. It'll be Reddick, Altuve, Correa. Josh takes a pitch for a ball, 1-0. Josh singling in 2 at-bats. Still batting over .350 on the season here at Minute Maid Park. Pitch misses away. It's 2-0. Astros looking for their 92nd win of the season. Would match the 2004 Astros team for 6th all-time highest win total. Astros would have to go 9-4 in their final 13 games to win 100 for the 2nd time. They would have to go 11-2, match the all-time best record set by the '98 Astros of 102 wins and 60 losses. Giolito's been pretty impressive today. He's only allowed a couple of runs in the 4th inning. Home run to Jose Altuve, RBI double by Alex Bregman. Other than that, just a couple of singles allowed.
Somebody loving their big hat.
And their big drinking hand.
Yeah, that's a solid, powerful grip on that beer can. Corey Hart with the foul ball. Did you see that? Wearing his sunglasses at night.
Wow, nice. There you go. All kinds of fans in attendance today.
I wear my sunglasses at night. Gonna find out real quick who is my age and has Twitter.
To Josh. There's a ball hit hard. Another base hit for Reddick at Minute Maid Park. 2 for 3 tonight, and the woos continue in the home stadium.
Catch one of the best ballpark bargains with Coca-Cola Value Nights. This offer includes a ticket, hot dogs, soda, and popcorn during select weekday games for only $18. Visit Astros.com/CokeValue for tickets and info.
Here's Jose Altuve, matching his career high in home runs his last time up with that home run to right field. That tied the game at 1 before Alex Bregman gave the team a 2-1 lead. He hits another one to right. This one is in play and caught by Garcia. Altuve has gone the opposite way all 3 at bats. He has a home run and 3 at bats to show for it. I'll bring up Carlos Correa. Altuve has seen in 3 at bats 3 pitches tonight. He may still challenge Yuli Gurriel for the fewest pitches per plate appearance on the season. The thing that makes this team special, in addition to some other reasons, they have the superstar young power stars like Correa, Springer, Altuve, the nationally known guys, but it's the rest of the 9, the rest of the 25, the Reddicks and the Marwins and the Bregmans, the Gurriels, McCann, and all these guys that put together a lineup 1 through 9 that is really untouchable. There's no other team that has Beltran, Gurriel, McCann in the bottom 3 of their lineup. And they've done it all year. Their production 1 through 9 has stayed consistent from April through September. They've always had the big home run numbers in the past, but they've been striking out a lot. This year it's the complete opposite.
No, I think what they're doing this year is remarkable, just in the sense that the slugging percentage is maintained or gotten better, but the strikeouts have gone down by so much. It's just not something you see too often from ball clubs that slug the ball like the Astros do. Usually you see those big swings. You get big swings and misses sometimes too.
Reddick on the move. The pitch is taken. The throw is in time from his knees. Great throw by Kevin Smith to get Josh Reddick trying to steal.
Josh trying to run himself into scoring position. Benito Santiago action.
Right on the money.
That was a strike.
Counts 2-2 on Correa. Correa's hit the ball a couple times to Tim Anderson, the shortstop. That one bounces up there. And it's 3-2. Lucas Giolito's done a good job in terms of pitch count against this team that puts up high pitch counts on a lot of starters. He has not walked a batter in this game. And there is his first walk to Correa. Well, Correa draws a 2-out walk. I'll give Marwin a chance in this inning. Marwin 1 for 2, scored a run. Still has a shot to hit 300 for the season, hitting .312 for the month of September right now. Marwin was up above 300 for a while. Currently at 294. And takes a called strike. Four guys within 4 RBIs of the team lead.
cool to have 5 guys at 80 plus.
Correa's got a little ways to go, but we have seen him go on RBI tears before, where 9 RBIs in 13 games is certainly not out of the question. Luke Gregerson has been loosening up. He should pitch the 7th inning for the Astros. Giolito misses the corner. It's 2-1. White Sox haven't had any bullpen action going tonight. Rick Renteria likes what he sees out of this young right-hander, making his 6th start of the season and the 10th of his major league career. Rare chase from Marwin. It's 2-2. Marwin's plate discipline this year has been as good as we've ever seen it.
Talking about that division championship for the Astros, guys like Marwin, Jose Altuve, watch their maturation and how they've developed as ball players on some of those 100-loss teams into what they are now, contributors to a very good baseball team. It's been a lot of fun to watch, and that's one of the things Marwin's done extremely well. He's cut down on the chase down and in, forced pitchers back in the zone, and when he's gotten some of those pitches in the zone, he's hammered them.
There's one of those down and in that you were talking about. Bounces back through Kevin Smith, allowing Correa to get to second base. That'll be a wild pitch and may have clipped the home plate umpire Mike Everett.
Yeah, I think they got a piece of everybody. That ball was yanked down and in. Catch him on the hand?
Looks that way. Yeah, he reaches for that right hand right away.
It's pretty incredible how it snuck through there and got a piece of him.
Jeremiah Randall, Astros head athletic trainer, out there looking after the crew chief and home plate umpire Mike Everett, who was hit on the right hand on that breaking ball. Is in some pain.
It's tough. That's his strike calling hand. The right hand usually goes up when you get the strike or the punch out. He's going, help me out, Jeremiah. It's my strikeout hand. Who was it? Ken Kaiser that went left-handed?
Did he go lefty strikes?
Yeah. He didn't do it behind home plate, though, did he? I didn't see enough of him umpiring back in the day. I just remember they would always check down to first base on a check swing, and he'd just kind of raise that right fist or left fist. Yep. Or if he had his hands in his pockets.
Yeah, he
would just raise his fingers like no swing. Flaps up.
He would show. He would go with as little possible effort to give a call on the bases.
He would. It's almost as if he was annoyed you threw it down there to ask his opinion.
Everett looks like he wants to stay in the game. These guys never want to leave a game, and looks like he's going to hang in there with that hand a little tender.
How great would it be if he got back there and told Giolito to throw a pitch and he practiced his strike call? Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, like a warm-up pitch.
Yeah, got a warm-up strikeout call. All right, guys, let's go.
So Kevin Smith apologizes to the umpire and he pats him on the shoulder.
No, he didn't. He said that was Giolito's fault.
Tried my best.
Did everything I could. That guy did it.
After all that, it's 3-2 to Marwin. Marwin spoils that pitch on the outside part of the plate. Astros leading 2-1. Playing their first game since wrapping up the American League West on Sunday. They were the 3rd team to clinch the division. Washington Nationals were first. Cleveland Indians the night before on Saturday night wrapped up the AL Central, and then the Astros on Sunday. Marwin staying alive at 3-2.
So I guess the ragging on your buddy never stops, huh?
Nope.
Just got to let him have it when you can. Been going to games for quite a while and never gets old just ragging on your bud.
Marwin staying alive at 3-2. Correa in scoring position after the wild pitch. Astros had a runner thrown out in this inning as Reddick was caught trying to steal. With this pitch count approaching 90, the White Sox will get their bullpen going for the first time. Aaron Bummer is warming up. Bummer.
So I'm gonna think about that for a second. I'm like, did you just call me?
Huh? Aaron Bummer, the lefty. Saw him in a series earlier this year. This will be the 10th pitch of this AB that Marwin will see from the young right-hander.
I usually got the bummer blummers after strikeouts in visiting stadiums. Isn't that a bummer blummer?
Really?
Yeah. Like, sit down. Come on.
It's a clown move.
It's a clown statement, bro.
3-2 pitch, and Marwin stays alive and may have done some damage to himself. So in this AB, there's some guys smarting at home plate.
Well, that's the 11th pitch in this at bat for Marwin. He has had some of the better ABs throughout the course of the season. And you can kind of see that Marwin and Mike Everett, the home plate umpire, kind of joking about, we're taking a beating this AB, aren't we? But some of his better ABs and his more clutch ABs have been when he's seen a ton of pitches and fought them off. It's eventually ended up in a pretty good scenario for Marwin. Right now, he's just continuing to extend some friendships around the home plate area.
Jeremiah made it a 2-for-1 visit. Check back in with Mike Everett.
Yeah, how you holding up?
Follow-up visit from the doc. Still 3-2. Marwin fighting it bad, and the fans are showing their appreciation. Another foul ball. Lucas Giolito probably wondering what he needs to throw. Marwin spoiling everything.
He's tried everything, and to his credit, he's doing it in a 3-2 count where he's keeping off-speed and fastballs in the vicinity where Marwin has to fight them. Just takes one mistake.
Last 6 fastballs. Other than pitch 10, they've all been on the outer half. He got him. Good battle won by the pitcher Giolito as Marwin goes down to a knee for the final out. We're through 6 in a 2-1 game.
And they are presented to you by Houston Methodist. Yeah, this guy's all right, too. Justin Verlander, since being acquired by the Houston Astros, 21 innings, only 2 runs given up. Watching those highlights kind of makes you feel like some of the hitters he's faced. It's been a blur. 13 starts since the All-Star break. A 2.04 ERA is second only to Corey Kluber of the Cleveland Indians. Great start to that second half for Justin Verlander and a couple other trade deadline acquisitions. The Astros did all right.
Justin out to a 3-0 start. His first 3 starts as an Astro. He is in some elite company in that category. Robin Roberts, Randy Johnson, and Roger Clemens, and now Justin Verlander winning their first 3 starts as an Astro. Here's Kevin Smith to lead things off against the new right-hander for the Astros out of the bullpen, Luke Gregerson taking over.
Good to see Luke out there. Another guy you'd like to see get right. He's got a great sinker, good slider when he is on.
Impressive inning from Will Harris tonight. Or 2 of those other 3 we were mentioning. Those are pretty good starts for all 3 of them. That's about as good as it gets.
Wow. Yeah, I want to go with these guys in the playoffs. Can we do that?
Right, left, right?
Yeah. Whoa.
There's that slider. He gets Kevin Smith swinging. Luke picks up a strikeout on 3 pitches right out of the bullpen.
It's a good slider. It's been rough going for him here at home. He's pitched better on the road. But he is a guy that you are going to need in that bullpen. 60 appearances this season. 64, now 65 punch-outs. He's been doing some serious work throughout the course of the season out of that bullpen for AJ.
Facing Adam Engel, takes a called strike. Colin McHugh pitched 5 innings of 1-run baseball. Will Harris a perfect 6th, including a strikeout, and now Luke on in the 7th. Ahead of Engel, 0-2. On Sunday, they only needed 2 innings out of their bullpen. And even though it was a 7-1 game, a 6-run lead, AJ went Chris Davinsky and Ken Giles. Luke, 2 strikeouts on 6 pitches, gets Adam Engel for the second out of the 7th. AJ's going to have some decisions, Blummer, as to who's going to start in the postseason in addition to Keuchel and Verlander.
I'm going to try and help.
Okay.
That's my 3 starter, but then you have some choices between Charlie Morton, Lance McCullers, Colin McHugh. Colin pitched well tonight. Is Lance McCullers going to round back into shape? They're hopefully going to see him before this homestand ends. But if he's right, what do you do with him? Do you keep him in that rotation? Charlie Morton, do you work him out of that bullpen? And if so, if any of those guys go to the bullpen, what is their role?
It's good problems to have, but there are definitely going to be guys who we're expecting to start in the postseason that may not have enough slots for. Got half your rotation already determined. Brad Peacock's on a run now of 13 out of 16 starts, allowing 2 earned runs or less.
And you could make a very good argument for all 4 of those guys. Brad Peacock, like you just said, has been a little more consistent. Lance McCullers was an all-star in the first half of the season. We're still waiting to see him come back into form.
Altuve to Gregerson covering as Yuli ducks down in the middle of that. So Luke, a 1-2-3 inning behind Will Harris's 1-2-3-6.
birthday, Chevy Stropel. Which Astros storyline excites you the most in the season's final 2 weeks? 46% going with the fight for the AL best record. Altuve coming in second today. We got lots of tweets on this one. Thanks for tweeting us at ATT Sportsnet SW. Thanks for following us on Twitter. There's a couple of those tweets. Getting that #1 seed. Have to play for the best record. I like it. Lots to fight for here in, well, 12+ games. My goodness, they're going quickly, guys.
They are. We're in our final 12 games, plus the rest of this one as Alex Bregman leads off the bottom half of the 7th. There's one thing we know for certain, no matter where the Astros end up in the seeding of the American League playoffs, we don't know who the second wild card is going to be. But those first 4 teams that look like they're going to be in, they are extremely talented teams.
Pretty legit.
Cleveland, Boston, and New York.
Yeah.
And the Astros. This is going to be a really fun postseason.
Should be an extremely good postseason. I'm with you on that.
And they're, you know, we talk about Boston all the time because they've been leading the AL East, but here the Yankees sit just 3 games back, just hanging around.
Young ball club too.
Young team. They made some acquisitions at the deadline. They are currently leading their game at home against Minnesota 3-2. That started late due to a rain delay. The Indians are underway against the Angels, just starting that game in Anaheim. And Boston and the Baltimore Orioles are playing in the 11th inning of a scoreless game.
Sounds like fun.
Great pitching. Alex Bregman on a 3-1 pitch. Offs a high fly ball down the left field line near the crowd. And still hanging in there is Nicky Delmonico. That was a really good play up against the fence. Delmonico never played here before. Just began his big league career in August. Makes a really nice play against the wall at Minute Maid Park.
First time here. Great job going into that padded wall. Showing some fearlessness, picking up Giolito with that fly ball. He enjoyed it.
I'll bring up Carlos Beltran, who was grounded out a couple of times. Well, they heard some good things about Lucas Giolito coming into this start, and he has pretty much lived up to them. His 2 runs against the best offense in baseball in 6 1/3 innings thus far.
We heard so much about the stuff, but he's actually come out of here and pitched extremely well for a young pitcher.
How as fortunate as Beltran hit one hard, but at the first baseman, Jose Abreu. The Astros have set up a website so that all fans can help raise much-needed funds for Hurricane Harvey relief. Visit ucaring.com/AstrosHarvey to donate today. Yuli shoots one down the line. Fair ball all the way into the corner. Gurriel with his 38th double of the year. And he now matches Hunter Pence for the most extra base hits in a rookie season with 56. Hunter accomplishing that with the Astros in 2007.
Yuli steps in there ready to rake. Off-speed pitch, staying middle in. He rips it. Giolito's actually fortunate he didn't get underneath that elevated. That ball was in crush zone.
With the lefty Brian McCann due up, Lucas Giolito is lifted from the game. 6 2/3 innings, allowing a couple of runs, responsible for the runner on second. We'll be back after this. Time to name that Astro, presented by your local Honda dealer. We gave you the clues: Dodger Blue, Supernova, eating them up. And our Name That Astro today is Mike Fiers. Attended Nova Southeastern University, leading the Astros in innings pitched this year. And coming over in the trade a couple of seasons ago, pitching a no-hitter at Minute Maid Park against the Dodgers. Mike Fiers, tonight's Name That Astro. Brian McCann will dig in against the left-hander Aaron Bummer, who takes over. Bummer faced McCann in the series up in Chicago. Throws him a strike.
Fastball slider to left-handed hitters. He has a changeup that he does bring to right-handed hitters. Goes around 94 miles an hour.
There's that slider. It's 1-1. AJ continues to go 1 inning at a time. It was Will Harris 6th inning, Luke Gregerson 7th, and Devo the Dragon, Chris Davinsky, looks like he'll be ready for the 8th. Up the middle, Anderson, the shortstop, makes the play for the final out. So the Astros leave a runner on base. We head to the 8th in a 2-1 game. When those fans in the front row start wearing those hats and that hat, you know what that means. It is Devo the Dragon time. Chris Davinsky comes on in the 8th inning.
Devo playing the setup man tonight. There's the numbers: 59th appearance. That whip under 1, that means he's keeping runners off base, which is good to see. In 76 in the 3rd innings pitch, he's got 94 punch outs, which is 4th among American League relievers.
He will face the part of the lineup that gave Colin McHugh some issues. Yoan Moncada, Jose Abreu in particular. Moncada on all 3 times. He's 3 for 3. Abreu was on all 3 times, the last time reaching on an error. Moncada now 7 for 12 on the season against the Astros. And he takes a strike from Davinsky. Devo said he really appreciated the fact that A.J. Hinch gave him an inning in that 7-1 game on Sunday, the clincher. One and 1 the count. Moncada faced Davinsky up in Chicago earlier this year, and Devo was able to strike him out. Slider misses inside. It's 2-1. Count evens at 2 apiece. Red Sox scored a run in the top of the 11th in Baltimore. The Orioles batting down 1-0 in the bottom half of the 11th. He got him again. Davinsky strikes out Yoan Moncada. 1 out in the 8th.
Found the kryptonite. Some other relievers out of that bullpen looking forward to the postseason. You already saw Luke Gregerson and Will Harris pitching this ball game. They've done a great job. They'll be on that postseason roster for me. A couple other guys are Ken Giles, Chris Davinsky, Joe Musgrove is a starter turned reliever who's done extremely well, and Francisco Liriano, he's the default guy out there in that bullpen, being a left-hander. So you've got 3 starters, those 6 guys, and you have a spot for a 4th starter and maybe that 7th guy out of the bullpen. So there's 2 more spots open, with Brad Peacock being my number 3.
Yeah, you don't need necessarily as many pitchers in the postseason with the off days. So you see an 8-man bullpen during the regular season, but that could easily be moved to a 7-man pen as you go first round, especially 2 games on, 1 day off, 2 more games and another day off.
Did you happen to see who they listed in the bullpen?
Nope.
For the Astros on the
score sheet
today?
I did not. Let me take a look.
It's the 3rd name down on the right-handed pitching side.
Ooh.
Is that foreshadowing? What do we got?
Hey, Lance McCullers Jr. on the list.
Pretty interesting.
Now I'll have to go back and look to see if he was on the lineup card, because they usually go right off the lineup card, but I don't think he would have been. 1-2 the count.
It's a long way from the bullpen.
Off the glove of Correa. Something about when Jose Abreu hits the ball has been troubling to the left side of the Astros infield.
He may have hit the lip.
Bregman missed one earlier, and now Correa.
And they've both been to the left side of the fielder also. Kind of jumped up and hit that surgically repaired thumb, and it did.
Not on the lineup card. So
they're messing with us.
They are. They're just seeing if we're paying attention. Here's Nicky Delmonico. Plummer is. 2nd error tonight, both with Abreu batting. He's been on base all 4 times. Davinsky misses inside. It's ball 1. You know who's on the bench list now? Good to see him back. Colin Moran.
It is good. It's good to see he's back, hanging out with the guys. Not sure if there's any opportunity for him to get in there and get an AB or not.
The fact that he's here on the big league roster is a huge win for everybody after a scary moment in Baltimore.
My goodness, yes. I couldn't agree with you more. It is good to see him out there.
His minor league rehab at the lower level. There goes the runner Abreu, swing and a miss. McCann's throw is not in time. Jose Abreu is 3 for 3 in steals this year as he picks up a stolen base. Julia, what do you have on Colin?
Well, it's good to see him back, you know, for all of us who were there and saw it firsthand. And it's been a long road for him, and it was very challenging there in the beginning. Had some symptoms. He said, you know, I couldn't really do anything after the surgery. He was locked up, just kind of laying around, and that was really tough for him. Couldn't fly, so you know, we think back to when it happened, and he was in that Baltimore hospital. They drove to Houston for him to have the surgery, and then after getting the clearance, he drove to his home all the way close to where West Palm Beach is, where the spring training facility is, more Jupiter area. So a lot of driving for Colin Moran as he was all over the place. And then, of course, stepping in the box for the first time is a challenge for anyone who's had a traumatic injury to his face. Colin's had one before in the minors, was hit in the face by a ball while he was trying to slide into second. Catcher threw down and broke his jaw. So he's been through that before as far as the mental aspect of just getting back in there, having a baseball flying at your face at a very high velocity. But he feels good about what he's been able to do and very comfortable. Just happy to be back.
Yeah, good to see him back for sure as Davinsky picks up a big strikeout with a runner in scoring position, striking out Nicky Delmonico, who's now 0 for 4. And Avisail Garcia will not get a chance to hit. A.J. Hinch has ordered an intentional walk. Davinsky will face Matt Davidson instead. The most popular way to follow the Astros postseason push is MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. The Astros intentionally walk Garcia, showing their respect for him. They will instead go after Matt Davidson in this 2-1 game. Davidson 0 for 3 tonight, a couple of strikeouts. Garcia had faced Davinsky before. Davidson has not faced Devo prior to tonight. This is the slider. It's 0-1. Astros hanging on in this 2-1 game. White Sox scored in the 3rd on a double by Jose Abreu. Astros came back with 2 in the 4th. Home run for Altuve and RBI double by Alex Bregman. That's a called strike. Davinsky ahead 0-2.
Good job by Mike Everett. He's got the brace on, but he still made the call.
Working through some pain tonight.
Gamer.
Try to get him to chase upstairs. 1-2.
You know what that means?
What?
He's going to come back with something off speed down.
Like the COD?
Could be the COD or the slider. He did a good job with the COD against Delmonico. 2-3 to him, and he got the swing and miss. But that slider to right-handers is what he usually goes to. Was the COD. Up in the zone a little bit.
Kept it up a little bit. Davinsky trying to work through the 8th. An error and an intentional walk have runners on 1st and 2nd with 2 outs. And the count's 2-2. Davidson 25 home runs in 381 at bats. He's also struck out 154 times coming into tonight.
Ooh.
He got him. He got him on the changeup. Devo with the circle of death, finishing off the top half of the 8th inning, stranding 2. George Springer 2 up.
Astros leading 2-1 over the Chicago White Sox. Join the Astros behind the scenes at Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour. The tour lets you check out areas like the broadcast booth, press box, dugouts, scoreboard control room, and more. Visit Astros.com/tours to book your tour today.
Astros hoping to add to a 2-1 lead as they bat in the bottom half of the 8th inning. They'll have the top of the order due up. George Springer on his birthday, getting a nice greeting from that fan. It'll be Springer, Josh Reddick, and Jose Altuve. Facing the new arm out of the White Sox bullpen, Danny Farquhar.
Astros have faced him quite a bit. Formerly of the Seattle Mariners, they put up some pretty good numbers against him. Fastball, changeup, curveball.
Splitting time this year between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Chicago White Sox. He was designated for assignment by the Rays in late June, released on July 19th, and signed by the White Sox as a minor league free agent. Pitch misses down and away to George. 2-1. George looking for his first hit on his 28th birthday. And he goes the opposite way. Long run Garcia. That's going to drop in off the wall. George with a double as he is into second base to lead off the bottom of the 8th. That's a birthday smile.
A sigh of relief and a birthday gift in 2 bases.
One of my favorite parts of the celebration on Sunday was watching the pure joy out of the face of George Springer.
Get a good idea about that pop all over the ballpark. We saw it earlier in that spray chart graphic with the home runs, but he didn't even square that up. That was a mistake that he drove off the wall the other way.
Here's Josh Reddick. George, who's normally as emotive as any player on the Astros, was isolated by our director Paul Bykowski on Sunday after the final out. Just watching him run in, and first had Altuve there as Reddick bunts. This has a little backspin on it. Farquhar throw. Somehow he gets him on a tough angle. Nice play for the out, but Reddick a big hand from the crowd and his teammates after the sac bunt.
Turned into a knock. Right here you're going to see the spin created. Turned it into a 60-degree wedge, knocking it down. But yeah, that was miraculous that it didn't hit Reddick right between the numbers.
They'll force the White Sox to bring the infield in. And Jose Altuve, who has a home run in this game, has swung at the first pitch 3 times tonight. He is 4 for 8 in his career against Farquhar with 2 doubles. Swings at the first pitch again. Altuve in 4 at-bats has seen 4 pitches. Here comes Springer trying to score. He is. No sign yet. You got to out at home plate. No tag applied and no touch of home plate by Springer initially, says Mike Everett. That's why he did not signal. George thought he got a piece of the plate. Everett waited to make the call until Smith went back to tag him.
They're going to check it. You can see Springer not going back to the bag. That was a great heads-up and gutsy play. We've seen this slide before from Houston Astros players, namely Springer and Jake Marisnick, going to that outside part of the plate to avoid the tag, and I'm giving it to him. He's safe.
He crosses the plate with his hand as long as his hand was on the ground, and this will be a great look. Hand on the ground. Ooh. I think there's enough to say he's safe.
I agree.
That is a tough call for Mike Everett to make. He hesitated, meaning he thought that neither the tag was made or Springer's hand was on the plate. If the hand gets the plate, it's before the tag. So that part we know.
Yeah. But there's no tag in that hand. Apparently, according to that replay, is there enough of it on the plate? They're showing it on El Grande here for the second time, and people are cheering.
The overhead view offers a look that his hand's on the plate. The view with his hand where it shows it sliding on the dirt as A.J. Hinch gives him a little rub down.
No, you know what A.J. is saying right here? I'm glad you're standing here and all your body parts are intact after that unbelievable slide.
Fans are chanting safe. A little pressure on the boys back in New York.
Now, but they've got their earmuffs on. You know, Altuve would have been out because he chews his fingernails down to a nub, and they may not have gotten home plate.
All right, so at this point, we know the call will not be confirmed.
Yes.
The most they can do is say it stands, but I think there's enough to overturn it. And we're going to find out right now. Is it a 3-1 lead or a 2-1 lead?
How about it? Nice call, TK.
3-1. Springer with his 103rd run scored of the year. And the Astros lead 3-1. Gives Altuve an RBI on that little ground out with the infield in.
Sure does. I don't know what was more impressive, the tag of a home plate or keeping his face off the dirt.
How did he do that?
That is a full body roll, shoulder safe slide. Well, there's dirt in places you don't normally see it on that jersey.
Watching that replay, I didn't even notice that. You're right. How did he avoid the face full of dirt?
Yeah, that could have gotten real ugly.
Springer with the infield in scores on a ground out. And the Astros lead it 3-1. Carlos Correa takes a breaking ball from Farquhar for a strike. Superman.
Yeah, I think we just saw that bobblehead just as he was making a catch.
Reddick called him safe. 1-1 the count. Happy birthday, George. You got the good call there from New York. Those are two uniforms that usually are not clean at the end of ball games. Reddick, Springer. They usually wear a lot of dirt by the end of the games. 2-1 pitch is in the air to right. Garcia towards the line. Puts it away. Astros tack on a run. They do so with the hustle and speed of George Springer. 3-1. Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. and by Toyota. Let's go places. We head to the 9th inning. George Springer's slide making the score 3-1 and giving his buddy Jose Altuve an RBI. Springer scoring his 103rd run of the season. And the Astros trying to do something they haven't done all year, and that's defeat the Chicago White Sox. And they hand over a 2-run lead to the closer, Ken Giles.
"31 saves on the season in 59 appearances. Also another reliever out of that bullpen that gets a lot of swings and misses. 79 punch-outs in 58 2/3 innings pitched. Pitched on the 17th against the Seattle Mariners. Guess what? Clinched the game, 2 for the Astros.
Giles getting the pop-up with the bases loaded up the bat of Kyle Seager that started the celebration. First pitch to Tim Anderson is grounded foul. And has had an outstanding season overall, but in particular at home this year. Facing the bottom third of the White Sox order. On the ground, base hit. White Sox will bring the tying run to the plate after Tim Anderson picks up his first hit of the night. He's now 1 for 4. And we will see a pinch hitter for the catcher, Kevin Smith. Alan Hansen has grabbed the bat. He will pinch hit. Big difference with that 2-run lead instead of a 1-run lead, thanks to George Springer picking the perfect time to run after a ground out with the infield in. In the dirt, stopped nicely by McCann, keeps the runner Anderson on first. It's 0-1 to Hansen. Hampton has their most pinch hit at bats this year. He is 2 for 15 as a pinch hitter. Switch hitter.
It's a tough gig coming in and facing closers. Probably got the scouting report that said that Ken Giles throws at 100 miles an hour and he breaks off a first pitch slider.
It's a gig you're familiar with, huh?
Yeah. Trying to get that label of being the closer killer.
Good luck in your first AB facing 100 miles Giles.
Not easy, but if you can do it, you can stick around for a little bit. It's not an enviable job.
Giles ahead 0-2. Good slider. Ken at home this year, 17 straight save opportunities he has converted. And an ERA below 1 at 0.90 at Minute Maid Park. Tried to hold up. Hansen went around. That's a strikeout. Giles picking up a strikeout to start with his first out of the ninth.
Good job by Kenny G. Swooning Alan Hansen with the smooth sound of a slider going by.
That's 7 strikeouts for the bullpen. 3 for Davinsky, 2 for Luke Gregerson, 1 for Will Harris, and now Ken Giles gets the strikeout. Anderson on first, and now another pinch hitter, Omar Narvaez, will pinch hit for Adam Engel. Takes a pitch upstairs. It's 1-0. Narvaez, a left-handed hitter. One and one the count. For some reason, though, in the stats page, they have him split between a righty and lefty, but he does not have any at-bats right-handed. He is strictly a left-hand hitter.
People who are printing out the notes are testing us, aren't they?
That's the stats page, too. That one's usually always on. The official stats page has Narvaez righty and lefty splits. They'll have to wait a long time before they see a right-handed at bat. 1 and 2.
You'd think they'd catch on to that fact by now, huh?
Narvaez hitting for Engel, the number 9 hitter. Astros trying to move to 34 games over 500. That would match their season's best. Through the legs of McCann, that'll send Anderson over to second base, so that takes the double play out of order. On a pitch that scoots to the backstop. Be a wild pitch against Ken Giles. Astros were 67 and 33. And they were also 34 games over with a mark of 68 and 34. Trying to improve to 92 and 58 tonight. Called third strike, outside corner at the knees. Narvaez throws it for the second out of the inning.
It's a little bit off the edge, but that is some kind of filth on that outside corner. You can see that violent delivery on our Mattress Firm Supermo.
Mentioned Mike Everett could be a pitcher's friend. Close pitch called a third strike, and now Yolmer Sanchez the batter. Called strike. 98. Giles has faced Sanchez one other time and struck him out. Astros wrapping up the AL West on Sunday, now with their sights on the best record in the American League. Cleveland and the Angels are scoreless in the third. The Indians coming in leading the Astros by a game and a half for the best record in the AL. One and two. Trying to tie Edwin Diaz for fourth in the American League with his 32nd save. Hopped in the air towards the dugout of the White Sox and out of play. Bounces on top of the dugout. Astros team to win 92 games was the 2004 wild card team. He got him. McCann's going to have to make the throw. The ball kicked away, and McCann's throw in time to get Sanchez as Ken Giles picks up his 32nd save. The Astros have won 5 in a row, and they match their season high 34 games over 500 with their 92nd win this year.
Players of the game tonight are presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Colin McHugh went 5 innings, but then he gave it to the bullpen. The bullpen did a phenomenal job. 1 inning apiece for the boys. Harris, Gregerson, Davinsky, Giles going 4 innings to back up Colin McHugh. They gave up 0 runs, 1 hit. Great job by those guys coming out of that bullpen, and that bodes well for the Astros going into that postseason. Got some horses at the front end of the rotation, but they might need that bullpen help at the back end of that rotation, and there it is.
And they picked up 9 strikeouts, too, including 8 in the last 3 innings, 2 by Gregerson, 3 by Davinsky, and 3 by Ken Giles. We'll have plenty more after this 3-1 victory, including the postgame show coming up next.